What's going on, guys, and welcome. In this video we'll look at most popular and totally free extensions for the brackets code editor. Without further ado, let's begin. And the first extension on our list is going to be Beautify. And what Beautify does, it makes our code look good and more readable. So whenever you would want a brackets extension, you would go over here to the file and you can click over here extension manager, or you have a shortcut over here. So we can click this icon and you can see that you have a window opening up and you have available and you have themes and you have installed. Now themes is the background setting for the brackets. So let's say if you would want a darker color, you can go over here, but we're going to be covering that in this video. So available is the available extensions that you can have, and installed is obviously the ones that we have installed already. I cleaned my folder for the purpose of this video, but as we will be installing them, they'll be appearing over here. Now let's jump to available, and we can write over here Beautify, and you can see over here Beautify. Now you can click for more info, but since I already, and especially it's good for the themes because then you can really check whether it's a theme that you want. But since for the purpose of this video, I already checked everything that I needed, so I'm going to be right away going to the install. So I'm clicking install and you can see that it's downloading right now and installation successful. So we close over here, we close over here. Now there's three ways how we can work with brackets. There's three ways how we can work with Beautify. Now whatever we start typing, and for the purpose of this video I'm going to be over exaggerating. I don't believe that whenever you're writing your files you'll be doing something like this, but let's say that I'm making it very messy and very unreadable. So we have three options. I go over here and I can right click it, and you can see that I have my Beautify appearing over here. So I can click it over here and you can see how the code right away jumped back to the much more neater and much more better look. Or I can actually use the shortcut, which would be for the Mac, it would be Shift Command L, and let me show you what happens. So again, we select the code and we press Command Shift and L, and again you can see what happened, that it basically went back to the more readable format. Now the good thing about it is that you can also do the same thing with your CSS or with your JavaScript files. So I'm gonna do over here in CSS. So again, the same thing. Let's say you started typing and you're like working, and it's, again, over exaggeration, but still it is possible. So again, you would select the code, but also there's another option which you can do. You can see over here Beautify on save. So I just click here, and once you save the file, you can see right away, at the moment I save the file, it actually cleaned up everything and made it much more nicer. And now let's talk about something really interesting, and it's going to be the themes. And the themes are actually the background color of what you see in your brackets. So let's say you can make it more look like Sublime. So actually, even though you have by default white, as you go over here to view and press themes, you have an option of, you can have brackets dark, and you just click that and you can see that it's much more closer to your other text editors. So if you would prefer something like that, you can always do it like this. But there's also option that you can go to your extension manager and actually download very customized themes. So let's head to our extension manager, and instead of available, I'm going to go for themes. And once I'm in themes, I'm just going to write New Moon. And you can see that I have New Moon and New Sun. I mean, you can go ahead and check it out, what is the difference. But let's say I'm going to download the New Moon. So close, close. And again, I head back to the same place. I head back to view and I just click themes. But now instead of two of the options, now I have three. So I just click on a New Moon, and you can see how it changed it. Actually, instead of pink, now my text is actually green and all that kind of stuff. So that's really, you have so many options, and I'm not going to be covering that one by one because I think that it's useless. But as long as you get the main idea where to get it, and I would suggest though that you, before you check out the theme, I would suggest that you click on info and actually have a look at how it exactly looks. The next extension I would want to show you is called extension rating, and all it is, it just rates the extensions that either you're choosing from or the ones that you have actually installed. So let's see that over here that I already installed it, and you can see that extension rating, right? So once I go to available, or I go to themes, or the ones that I have already downloaded, once I click on them over here, you can see that it says what was the version when it was created and how many downloads it actually has happened. So you can see HTML format, how popular, for example, it is, right? And you can see that this one, autosave every edit, it's not very popular. So it really helps you sometimes to decide whether you would want that extension or not. And the next extension that we're going to install is going to be HTML skeleton. And it's very basic, it's very simple, however, it's very useful. So like the name suggests, it adds a HTML skeleton to our page. So you can see that I have blank HTML file, and only thing that I would need to do is I would need to go over here to Extension Manager. And once I'm in Extension Manager, just type HTML skeleton. And you can see it over here, click install, close this. And you can see over here this little button. So just press it. And you can see over here what options you have. So you have basic, and you have full, and you have everything else in between. So I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to select full and click done. And you can see right away how on my web page appears the full HTML skeleton. And the only thing is I need to do is add href if I want my style sheet, or JavaScript. And the rest of the things that I can just start coding. The next extension I would want to show you is called Super RightClick, and pretty straightforward. What it does is it adds more options to your right click over here. So let's go to our extension manager and let's type Super RightClick and click install, close. And as you can see, it adds right away more options to your right click. So instead of 5, you have more than 10 right now. So instead of browsing around, whether it's the file or edit or preview, you can right away do everything with the right click. The next extension we'll add to our brackets text editor is called Emmet. And it easily earns the title of most popular extension because it allows us to expand simple abbreviations into complex code snippets, and by doing so makes our life as coders much more easier. So let's go over here to our extension manager and let's type Emmet. And you can see over here it says high speed HTML and CSS workflow. So let's install. And now we have added Emmet to our brackets text editor. Now Emmet is a lot of information, so I'm not going to cover everything in this short video. However, I'm just going to cover some basics so you can see how it is working and what are the benefits of it. So let's say I'm in my text editor and I want to create a div with unordered list, and let's say I want have 5 list items. So you know the typical way how you type it in HTML. However, Emmet allows you to do it much more quicker. So let's have a look. So let's say I wanted to create a div, and then I wanted to create a unordered list, and then I wanted to create a list items, right? So what Emmet allows me to do is I'm going to write this shortcut over here, and then I have over here, you can see that Emmet is already in my bar over here. So I can either remember the shortcut, which is actually very easy, it's going to be tab, but I can also come here and expand abbreviation. So I click over here, and you can see right away how the Emmet so nicely actually expanded whatever I needed to write, so I didn't have to spend much time doing so. Okay, so let's check the same thing with the tab. So I'm going to delete it over here, and in this case I'm going to say that I want to make a unordered list and list, but let's say this time I'm going to multiply by 6 because I want to have 6 list items. So all I do is press tab, and you can right away see what happens. That how quickly my work has become that I'm using Emmet right now. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be covering all the options, because even by looking at it, you can see that there's a bunch of things that you can do, and I'm going to let you to go over them by yourself. However, let's just have a look at a couple more things that we could do. So let's say I would want to add 3 block elements, right? So I could just write that I want to add div, I want to add paragraph, and I want to add block code, right? And I just press tab, and right away you can see I have 3 paragraphs here. With Emmet, I can also add a attribute operators to my HTML. And what I would have to do is, let's say I would write div, and then I would use the number, and then I would write header. And let's press tab, and you can right away see that I have created a div with ID of header. And I can do the same thing with class if I want. So in this case, I would write div, and instead of, let's say, the ID header, I would actually create a class header. Okay, again, press tab, and you can see that I have created a div with class of header. So now you can see that it has tons of options that you can do, and how it can make your life much more easier just by saving you time that you would normally would have to spend on typing. Next extension we'll look at is called zoom wheel. And the reason for this extension is that in the brackets you can actually zoom in and out by, let's say, on a Mac command plus or command minus, but it sometimes gets irritating. So let's say you would want to do it with a mouse. That's why you install the zoom wheel extension. So we're going over to extension manager, and we type zoom wheel, install, close, and now we can easily do it with a mouse. Moving along, another very popular extension for brackets text editor is tabs custom working. So let's go over here to our extension manager, and we write here custom work. And we click install over here, but you can see already info, it says creates a bar on top of each editor managing tabs. So let's click install. Let's close. And now you can see right away that you have this little arrow over here. So what you can do is with all the files that you want actively working, so while this bar is over here, you just press, and right away all the files that you're actively working are showing up here. So if I would want to add more files that I want to work on, you can see all I have to do is double click, and they keep adding on the top. Now, if I want to get rid of this toggle bar, so all I would have to do is press arrow, and you can see that I'm moving left and right. Now, you have options of actually moving your files up and down. Let's say you wanted to split screen, so all you have to do is, you can see right away I got my image over here. So I can create split screen as fast as just clicking a button. And the same way, if I want it back, I just click back over here, and you can see that my file goes back on top. And if I would have to close this split screen over here. Now, there's also more custom things that you can actually do with custom work. So let's say you press over here and you have these files, right? Well, nice feature over here, what it allows you to do is, once you click that settings, you can actually do some nice features. Like let's say over here, right? You can add some nice icons. So let's save this, and you can see that how I have whatever CSS file, I actually have the CSS icon, then HTML and JavaScript and image, and you get the idea. So again, I go back to settings, and you can just discover however you would like. I mean, the things that are changing. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. Let's say that move toolbar to the sidebar, right? And what this one does is, you can see over this one that this sidebar is kind of a little sometimes annoying, that it actually, when it expands, it covers this. So all you have to do is save, and you can see that I moved it actually down here. So now it's a little bit easier for you to access it. You don't have to mess around here when it's actually expanding or not expanding. So another thing, let's go to the settings, and you can see the reduce opacity. So whatever you're not going to be using or not working, so let's say I want to do a split screen, so you can see how opacity, whatever I'm not working or not active at the time, I'm actually not working. So it's, I mean, mostly I like it for the icons. That really works. But overall, I would say it's a very, very nice extension. If there's ever a case when you want to get rid of both of the toggle menus, left and right, there is actually extension for that, and it is called No Distraction extension. So we go to our extension manager, and we type No Distraction Advanced Toolbar View. So install that, close, and now if I go to View over here, you can see I have this no distraction option. So I just press that, and you can see how my whole screen is being used right now. And if I want to go back, I just go back to View and I click No Distraction, and I go back to the normal view. Now, if we wanted only to add nice looking icons, we could actually opt out for extension called Brackets Tree Icons. So let's go to our extension manager, and let's type Brackets Tree Icons. And now that we have the file, let's click Install. The installation was successful, close. And now you can see that my whole brackets has a very nice bunch of icons. So if you just want to add icons to your brackets, you can just opt out for Brackets Tree Icons extension. If you ever want to open brackets in a new window, there's actually extension for that, and it's called New Window Extension. So let's go to Extension Manager, and we write New Window Extension. And you see over here, open a new editor window. So we click Install, close. So what I can do right away is go to File and open a new window, and you can see that my brackets are opening in a new window. And if I want to work in 2 windows or 3 windows, I can do that. If you're working with Bootstrap, there are actually 2 great extensions that you could really use to make your coding faster and easier. The first one would be a Bootstrap starter template that would work the same as HTML skeleton. And the second one would be ACB Bootstrap Snippets that will allow you to work much more faster, because you wouldn't have to type the whole Bootstrap code. Let's say if you wanted to have like a nav bar or something. So let's go over here to Extension Manager. And in our Extension Manager, let's type Bootstrap. And over here you can see that it's Bootstrap starter template. So click Install. And install was successful. You can close this and close that. And now you have an option where you go to File, and you can have a new Bootstrap template. Or you can actually use the shortcut that's provided over here. So let's click on Bootstrap template, and you can see that I right away have a new file, the untitled 1.html. So what I'm going to do is right away I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save it as Bootstrap HTML. And let's save it over here. And you can see right away that it is exactly the same template as if you would be downloading from the Bootstrap webpage. It's just the difference is that you don't need to do anything. You just click on a new template and you right away have it. And also what they did, they added a nav bar just for you to have it or to work with it. So let's go over here and open Live Preview in the brackets. And you can see that I have a new Bootstrap starter template. And I have home, about, I'm clicking, nothing is happening. But you get the idea of what you have. So let's go back to the brackets and get a ACB Bootstrap Snippets extension. And what I'm going to do right away, as I'm in here, I'm just going to delete this nav bar because we don't need it right now, because we're going to be getting the actual snippets. So now we go to Extension Manager and we write ACB Bootstrap Snippets. And you can see right away how they're popping up here. So we just click Install, and install was successful. Then we close, over here. And the way you would work with this extension, you just have to start typing BS with small letters, and then you have 3 over here, and then whatever you type next, it's basically giving you code hints, right? So you go with navbar basic, right? So let's save it over here and let's see what we have. And I'm gonna refresh it and you can see what I have in the page. I have just a basic navbar. So let's go back and let's say I wanted to add some more, maybe a carousel or something, right? So again, I would try BS and then 3, and then I would write carousel. So I can click carousel over here, and it gives you right away the options of what you want. So you have slide 1, 2, 3, and then you would need to insert the image here. So I'm just gonna write over here the images that I have. One is fat face. The other one is gonna be, I believe it's gonna be funny JPEG. And the third one is gonna be Johnny, I believe. So let me save this. Let me jump back and I'm gonna refresh. And you can see that I have a little carousel right away. And I can just flip the images and work with that. And you can see it's very neat and makes your life much more easier by actually helping you to not to type as much code. The next extension we'll look at is called HTML comment extension. And what it does is it allows us to create a comment or comment out the line without using our keyboard. So let's go over here to Extension Manager and write HTML comment. And now that we have installed HTML comment button, you can see over here this little icon. So let's say if I would highlight this line and I would press it, you can see right away that it turned into the comment. And I can do it with how many lines or with how little lines would I want. Another interesting extension is Indent Guides, and let me show you how it works. So again, we go to Extension Manager, and in Extension Manager we type Indent Guides. Now we click Install, and once the install is closed, we close over here. And once you have downloaded the extension, you can go over here to View, and click over here. You can see Indent Guides. So you have Indent Guides. Now I set my ones right away for red, but what you're gonna have is probably black. And let me show you where, or gray for that matter. And let me show you where you can actually change the values. So you go over here to Debug, and over here you can see that open preference file, right? So as you open the preference file, you can see that on the left side you have this is read-only file. Okay, but this is the JSON file where you're going to actually do your changes. So the way you can actually do the changes, you can see over here is the brackets Indent Guides guide color, right? So I would copy this and actually paste it over here, right? You can see in a JSON file. So let me just make that JSON file a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see that I pasted my Indent Guides over here. And then over here, you can change the value right now with the quick edit in a bracket. So let's say I would want my color to be green. So I would do it like this. And then I would save. And then I can close this. And now you can see I have them green. And you can change multiple values on the Indent Guides. You can have the, let's say, the style. You can have a different style. You can have the hide first. You see you have a Boolean value to false, but you could actually make it to true. And so these are the options that you can do not only with a Indent Guides. You can also see that once you're in a preference file, that you actually can change the default font size, what is the font family, and all kinds of stuff. So actually, the brackets JSON file is a very interesting place to work in because you can change a lot of settings. Actually, maybe the ones that you cannot access any other way. The next extension is going to be very useful to all the JavaScript fanatics. So the next extension is going to be JavaScript Downloader, and what it does, it actually allows you with one click add any JavaScript library that you would want. So we go over here to our extension manager and we type JS Downloader. click install, close, close, and if we go over here where our file's at and just right click it, you can see that we have run GS downloader. So we just click on that and you can see that we have Angular, we have Backbone, Amber, Handlebars, jQuery. I mean, you name it, whatever you would want, you can get it over there. Moving along, let's check out LoremPixel brackets extension. And this extension basically adds a customized image to your web page. So let's go over here and to extension manager, and let's write LoremPixel. And you can see over here, just click install, close, close. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right away create a new image, and I'm going to write source, and I'm just going to close it. And what we can do over here, you can see this icon. So just click on the icon, and first things first, you have a bunch of themes, right? You have sports, people, nightlife, nature, food. I mean, you name it, right? So let's pick city. But the interesting thing about LoremPixel is that it lets you customize the width and the height. So let's say I would want it specific width, 211, and then I would want it some kind of height of 848. So I click preview, and you can see that this is my picture. But let's say I decided the other way, that I want bigger width and smaller height, and that gives you a completely different picture. Now I picked pretty dumb widths and heights, so it kind of gives us very ridiculous pictures, but as you can see, as I'm changing, also the pictures are changing. So let's say I wanted to do food, right? So let's click preview, and that is, we have carrots and tomatoes and a couple of mushrooms. So let's go here and let's go over here, and basically you get an idea. So as I'm playing around with this, if for some reason you ever need like a placeholder image, and all you have to do is insert, and obviously my cursor wasn't there, so let's just cut this and paste it over here where it's supposed to be, and I'm gonna save it, and let's check it out in the live preview what we have over here. And you can see that I have nice red onions. Sometimes when you are in the brackets, you don't want to, and if something goes wrong, you don't want to close them out and open them back again, because it sometimes takes longer time. So you have an extension for that, and it is called the refresh and reload. And let's go to extension manager, and we type refresh and reload, and we click install, close, close. And you can see over here, if sometimes our extension doesn't perform properly, or in general we just need to refresh the page, we have this button over here, and we can just click it and it does it for us. Another neat brackets extension is AutoPrefixer, and what it does, it's actually allows you not to deal with vendor prefixes, so it automatically converts it for you. So let's go over here to extension manager. Let's type AutoPrefixer. Let's click install. Once it's installed, we can close this. And let's say now I wanted to write transform, and I'm gonna write here over here rotate, and let's say I'm gonna write -5 degrees over here, and I'm gonna put semicolon. So if I go over here to edit, and you can see auto prefix selection. So what I would have to do is I'm going to select this. I'm going to go back to edit, selection. And now you can see how it right away AutoPrefixer actually dealt with the vendor prefixes. So I don't have to do that. Another great brackets extension is JS and CSS Minifier. So let's go again to our extension manager. And let's type JS and CSS Minifier. Click install. Close, close. And now you can see we have two files. I have the CSS file over here, and I have the JS file over here. So at any point, if I would want to minimize this, I could go to edit over here. Sorry. And you have option here of Minify, but you can also do it with a shortcut. So I'm gonna click Minify, and now you can see my block min over here. And you can do the same thing with block.js, but in this case I'm just gonna use the shortcut. So you can again see how my JS file, now it's block min.js. Another great extension is a PDF converter. So let's say if you wanted to make your file as a PDF, then you would have to get that extension. So we go to Extension Manager and we type PDF converter. And you can see over here it's export PDF. We click install, close, and as you can see over here we have the file. We go to the file over here and we have an option as export as PDF, and it gives you multiple options what you want to do. Just click OK. It asks where you want to save your file, save it, and now you have a PDF file. Another interesting extension is open in the browser. So let's go to our extension manager and let's type open in the browser. And when we type open in the browser, we can see our extension. So we click install and then we click close. So when we download the extension, you can see over here this little icon. So we can just click it and it opens up in the browser. And the nice thing about it is that we can right away jump to our developer tools and use the web console. What is going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extensions video. In this video we're going to look at brackets snippets extension, and this extension will allow us to make our own code snippets and then later use them to save our time. So let's go to extension manager and then we type bracket snippet, and then we find bracket snippets by ADC and we click install over here. And we close this window, and now we have this little icon over here. So we just press the icon, and now we can see that we can make it smaller or we can make it a bit bigger window. And we can go over here to library, and now we have HTML, we have CSS over here, we have JavaScript, and we have PHP. And let's say that I want HTML, right? And you can see on the left hand side over here I have already anchor tag and style tag. So I'm just gonna click on it, and you can see that what kind of snippet it is, and the trigger would be A. So I would have to write A and press enter, and over here I can obviously modify this. So let's just close it out. Let's go to the body and let's say that I want a link over here, right? So you can see that it's right away suggesting as I'm typing A, it gives me an option of anchor tag, and as soon as I press enter, I right away have the anchor tag already made up. Now over there also I had CSS tag, so I just type CSS and I right away have the style here. So let's go back and I'm just going to show you what it means that I have over here. I have HTML and CSS tags, right? And that's why I had already the style tags jumping up. So let's say I would go back over here and I would cancel this out, and I have HTML and I have doc type boilerplate, right? So I just add this plus over here, and now I have the boilerplate over here by doc type. So let's just close this out, and I just open a new one over here, and I type doc type, and you can see that it's right away gives me a doc type boilerplate. So right away I have the boilerplate. Now here's the deal though. If they're not added over here in the snippets manager, you're not going to be able to use them. So if I close this out and I say confirm, and I just close this window, and let's say again I go over here on the top and I try to write doc type, and you can see that nothing is happening. It's not giving me the suggestion because I took it out of the snippets manager. But if you're gonna download this, you can really go to town because you can obviously edit yourself a lot over here and make your own custom version of what type of snippet you would want. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extensions video. In this video we'll look at brackets CSS Color Preview extension. So we go to extension manager and we write brackets CSS Color Preview, click install, close, and now we need to go to view, click View, and you can see over here, enable CSS Color Preview. So we click on here, and now you can see that we have these little icons that would pretty much say what is the color that we're using. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extension video. In this video, we're going to look at CSS Fire extension, and this extension allows us to create a CSS selectors on the go. So let's go over here to our extension manager, and we write over here CSS Fire, and click install. Close. And now that we have installed this extension and we're back in our document, let's say that I would want to create two divs, right? However, you can see that I've been working in a document, so I would be adding, I don't know, somewhere in the middle, right? So I'll write div, and this one I would give the attribute ID, and I would give it the main. And over here I would create, within that div, I'm going to create another div, and this one I'm going to write a attribute class, and again I'm gonna give it a value of main, and over here I'm gonna close it out. Now I could have done this using the Emmet, of course, and it would save my time and everything, but just for the purpose of this video I'm just gonna type it like this. So what I can do over here right now, instead of going to main CSS and then creating ID main or class main, we can just go over here and copy this. And I'm going to copy this, and let's jump back to main CSS. We can do it anywhere we want, but I'm just going to go in the bottom, start a new one. And once I press paste, you can see that right away that I have my ID main and my class within ID main. So it just gives us a little bit of breathing room where we don't have to jump back between the files and look what is the ID and what is the class. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extension video. In this video, we're going to look at Quick Form Tool extension, and this extension is made for all the form fanatics. So if you're one of them, you should definitely watch this video. So we go over to the extension manager over here, and we type Quick Form Tool. Click install, close, and now you can see I have this little icon over here, right? So right now I have a empty document. So when I press this little icon, you can see what I have. So I have all these options. This one would say the file input, then I have a text input, and then the button, and I can go on. And you can check them out yourselves, because I'm not going to go over every icon and tell you what exactly it is. So let's say that I would want a radio button, right? And now you can see that I have an empty document, and I'm just going to show you the quick preview, and you can see that it's empty. But let's say that I want add a checkbox right now, then a radio button, then a select, and then let's say another button, right? And obviously you can fill them out and give them a classes or IDs or all that kind of stuff. But I'm just showing you how quick it is actually to add a form to your document. So we go back over here, and now we can see that we haven't filled it out, but yet I have a button over here. So let's go and find that button, what I have, name button, and let's say I'm going to give it a value, and I'm going to write it that it's a button, all right? Button, let's say 1. So save this over here, and I have over here, I have button 1. And obviously if I would want to copy this, I could just either use a shortcut or just copy it in general, and I have, like, let's say in 20 seconds I have 20 buttons on my page. And you can see over here that I have a HTML audio and I have video. And what these icons mean, you can see HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So as you press that, you can right away see that I have a new HTML document, or I would have over here a new CSS and JavaScript. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extension video. In this video, we're going to look at brackets color palette extension. And this extension allows us to pick colors from our images. So let's head to Extension Manager and type brackets color palette. Click install. Close. And now that we're back in our CSS file, you can see that I have here an ordered list, right? And the background color is gray. And I have it already over here as a quick edit, or we can just have a look at with the live preview. You can see over here my unordered list has gray, right? But let's say that I would have a image, right? Image of this fish. And for some reason, I like this blue, right? So now that we have installed this extension, we have over here this little icon, this palette icon. So just click color, and you can see over here that I have a new screen. So now as I'm going over, you can see that I can choose the color that I want, whether it's a red one or this blue one, and I right away have over here the copy to clipboard. So I can either choose that or not. So I just click it, copy to clipboard, and you can see over here that I have all the colors. So let's say I want this one, and you can see that it saves, right? So then I click another one saves. So let's just say I'm gonna stick with this one. So now I've copied this one. I can just close it out, and I go back to the CSS, and instead of gray, let's say that I can go over here and just paste it, and you can see that I have this color. So let's just go and check it out in our live preview, and you can see that I have successfully changed the color from gray to fish's blue. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extensions video. In this video, we'll look at color hints extension, and this extension displays the colors that we already have used in our CSS file as code hints. So let's go to our extension manager over here. Let's type color hints. Let's click install. Close, close. So we head to our CSS file over here, and you can see that obviously I have some items and I already gave them, like, let's say color, or I gave them a background color. So I'm just gonna go to my unordered list over here, and you can see that I have background color red. But let's say I would want to change the color, but I would want to stick to the colors that I've been using. So I'm just gonna write here over here the hashtag, and you can see as a quick edit right away you have the options of the colors that we have been using. So let's say I could just pick this blue or pick any other color, and it just saves you a little bit of time. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another brackets extensions video. In this video we're going to look at autosave every edit extension, and as the name suggests, it allows us to autosave our every edit. So we already know the drill, so we go to our extension manager over here, and here we write autosave every edit, and it pops up right over here. So we just click install and close and close. So now that we're back in our file, we just head over here on the top, and we have two options. We have enable autosave and we have auto config. So first I'm just going to do enable autosave, and you can see over here in the left corner, as I'm going to start typing, there's going to be circle appearing while the brackets are showing you that the file hasn't been saved. So as I'm typing, you can see over here div, but the moment I'm actually done writing the div, it's already has saved. So you can see that it's working pretty fast. And I mean, I can go to here to autosave config and actually change it. I can maybe change it to, let's say, 200 milliseconds. That would be even faster. Just click changes. And I don't think that we're going to notice the difference, but I mean, it gives you an idea what you could do. If you are a big fan of HTML special characters, there's actually an extension for that. So let's say I'm creating this little dumb website, but over here between hello world, at the end of hello world, I just want to add some special characters from HTML. So I just jump to extension manager, write HTML special characters, click install, close, close, and I go anywhere in a file where I need to add a special character, and I have to press Alt-C, and you can see of the choices that you have. So let's say I'm just gonna add spades, right? So you have a spade over here. Another great extension in brackets is an overscroll extension, and let me show you how it works. So let's say we have a document, right? And we scroll it all the way down, and if we need to add some more code, then we need to start messing around over here. We need to start pressing enter, and then we're losing the divs or the bodies or something like that. So we have an extension for that. So we go to our extension manager, and we type over here overscroll. And we click install, close, close, and now as we keep going down, you can see that it creates more space. So let's say again we started all the way on the top, and we keep going. We're not hitting that end at the end of the document. We have more space right now. And it's not a major thing, however, it does make our life a little bit easier.